You don't know what you're doing either.
I have no idea.
Guess what? Same here, man.
Let's test that theory.
You gotta do what it takes to survive.
All right, hello and welcome. My name is Michael Jobity, and I will be hosting this live stream today, as well as the awards ceremony on the 25th to 26th of November. Welcome to the 4th edition of the MiraBan UK Film Awards, powered by the MiraBan Company and founded by our festival director, Jay Manari. The MiraBan UK Film Awards, or MUFA, is a British London-based IMDb qualifying film festival focused on diversity in Auteur movies. As a member of Film Hub London and BFI fan, MUFA provides a spotlight for underrepresented, emerging, and experienced independent filmmakers through weekly live stream Q&A sessions, as well as with its in-person career expo and networking opportunities, and an exciting festival event taking place on the 25th to 26th of November at the Bromley Picture House Cinema. If you haven't done so yet, please check out our festival tickets and VIP pass for the event, and subscribe on our new streaming platform, Stream Auteur, to watch all the officially selected candidates of this edition and vote for your favorite, which will win the Best Film Audience Award. We are also giving out discounts and coupons, so be sure to subscribe. But let's get the ball rolling with our special guests we have here today. Please welcome Omri Dagan and David Albury from the UK, a finalist for Best Experimental Short with their film, If We're Here, It Means We Didn't Make It. In this story, the world has been rocked by a deadly virus. James finds himself alone, spiraling out of control. One night he meets a girl, Lucy. Could she be his way out? Let's take a look. Wow. So Omri and David, it is a pleasure to have you on the live stream today. You both have achieved so much. I'm just going to give a quick intro for the audience in case they don't know. Omri, you moved to the UK in 2020 and began establishing your filmmaking and photography business. You created a large variety of commercial videos of international companies such as BeCure Laser, SmartStrike, and One Step. You also filmed and directed multiple videos and documentary content for multiple London-based and international artists. This is where you met David, an accomplished London-based singer, songwriter, actor, and writer. David, your acting credits include Disney's The Lion King, Smokey Robinson and Motown the Musical, Bob Marley and Get Up, Stand Up, and more. The list is literally very long. I remember doing a lot of research, and there's no way for me to actually say every single one in this live stream, but there are a lot of accomplishments from both of them. And David, your songs have been featured on BBC Radio and other national and international radio stations. And amongst all this work, you were able to both meet each other and create an amazing film based on the impact of isolation on mental health during the pandemic. So congratulations on all your successes. How are you guys doing today? Nice to have you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing well. Oh, I speak for myself. I'm feeling great. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's great to be here and pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, that's awesome. The pleasure is ours. So I guess the first question could be for yourself, Omri. You mentioned that during the pandemic, there was this massive disconnection from society and sudden cutoff from loved ones that often it kind of almost went like under the radar and became this big problem that was facing the world. When did you begin to realize that this was an issue that not only, yourself and individuals, but like a lot of people were facing? And what experiences did you take from your own life that were placed in the film?
Well, it's very interesting because when I moved to the UK, it was just a couple of weeks before first lockdown. So my initial visit here during March 2020 was basically scouting for my wife and I just before the big move. And I ended up staying here for almost 4 months straight because flights were cancelled and the reality changed so much. So I just stayed. So on a personal level, I really felt obviously the impact of isolation and being away from the loved ones because my wife was back in Israel and I was here. But I was lucky enough to meet a lot of very cool people during isolation and lockdown because we didn't have anything else to do. So we created, hence the film as well. The film is based on isolation, but mainly on David. David will share his own take on this, of course, but his own personal experiences during lockdown. And we ended up, pitching to ourselves basically about this and figuring out whether this is a story that we want to tell. And because it was in the middle, just between first and second lockdown, we filmed. We really felt strongly about delivering a message about the impact of being away from people, being disconnected from society and not knowing where the world is going. So, it started from my personal experience of being disconnected from my own family, but I ended up telling a story of the greater good.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And it's definitely a story everyone can resonate with, right? Like, in terms of the impact, it's a global issue. And I feel like when people watch the film, they can relate it to their own experience and look at ways, it just kind of helps them look back and kind of reflect and look at how, God forbid something happens in the future. Now, at least we can go into it with that understanding and awareness. But yeah, I'll hand the floor over to Jay if he has any questions.
Of course. Well, first of all, nice to meet you both. I was just thinking of the choice of using the music throughout the film. So that's quite unusual, but not in experimental films. So my question to you will be, why that song and what inspired you to write it?
So the reason we decided to make If We're Here a non-dialogue film is because one of the main themes and the main focuses was on mental health. And number one, that was a severely under-discussed, factor of the lockdown, the effect on mental health, affecting everyone, in conjunction with everything else that was being discussed around that time. And so we wanted to kind of represent that in the film itself in a kind of physical way. And we also wanted to kind of go beyond that and say that actually a lot of the discourse doesn't touch on some of the more kind of, more, what would they call it? Unconventional therapies. So the film itself, I felt a lot of people weren't discussing, alternative therapies that could have been used or discussed. Yeah, because obviously within the lockdown context, there wasn't so much that you could, you were limited to what you could do. But the importance of things like going for walks and doing art and these other therapies that were much more kind of accessible to us, that was still a side of it that wasn't really being discussed. So the idea to make the film non-dialogue was because we wanted to say that the discourse wasn't taking place. And we also wanted to kind of set a mood that we felt couldn't necessarily be captured in words, but would be better articulated through music. The piece was developed, off the back of some songs as well that were pre-written and that kind of shaped the discourse and shaped the narrative of the film itself. And so it was an interesting way to kind of capture what we were all going through at the same time and set it to the backdrop of this music, which kind of made a lot of sense at the same time. A lot of the time the mood for the music was written and then the lyrics were rewritten to suit the dialogue and to further articulate that. But it was something that we thought about quite a lot.
I would add, if that's okay, just one sentence from my personal point of view. I come from a theater world. I was a composer back in the day myself. I worked in theater a lot, and when I wrote songs for shows, for theater shows, my agenda was, when there's nothing to say, there should be a song. And I personally felt like if we're here, I couldn't imagine a dialogue. I didn't see people talking, having a dialogue. There was nothing to say. Everything was so dire, was so sad. People were beyond words. So I felt when David reached out with the concept for the film, and he's an amazing music as well, I felt like the music is the only way to communicate the story, because people can't talk within themselves.
That's great, actually. Thank you so much for mentioning that, and opening up the theme of mental health, which I agree with David has been hugely underestimated during lockdown. We thought about life on a quantity level, but never on a quality level. Also, the number of suicides that happened throughout lockdown was massively just not mentioned. And they were saying that they were not mentioning, not to scare people off, but every day that they were telling us the number of deaths. So I think that terrorism was happening anyway psychologically. We should have been better informed to take care of our health, mental health, as much as we were trying to take care of our physical health. So definitely it does. Thank you so much for unveiling that side, which we didn't know. Another thing that I wanted to ask, and this is just for the sake of people that haven't watched the film, but probably are asking themselves, what's the title referring to when they say we didn't make it? It might be read in, interpreted in many ways, but can we help the audience a little bit to unveil that?
So, there was a sense of ambiguity about, in the film, whether or not the protagonist, James, was going to make it through this journey. At the time we were writing the piece, it's just so unique about writing a piece about the time you're living in, which was, it resonated with Omri and myself. It resonated with the people in our hair and makeup departments, our runners, everyone involved in the project was living this at the same time. And because the world was in such a state of flux, there was this idea that, we don't know if we're going to make it. So the idea that, if we're here, it means we didn't make it. If we're here, it means it was also kind of a kind of an homage to the people who were represented in the film who didn't make it out of the pandemic itself. So it was kind of almost a tribute to them, whilst also giving a voice to, I guess, the people who didn't have a voice at the time, and trying to kind of draw parallels with that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, no, I love that. You touched on a lot of really great points. First, I love the idea of using music to convey that which you can't use words for, right? I think that creates like a bigger impact, and I love that both of your backgrounds in music being able to come together and create that on screen. It's super powerful, and a good lesson too for anyone on the call who wants to be an aspiring filmmaker, like the importance of music and how that plays into story, and then also the impact you're trying to build, with your storyline. And I think it's incredible what you've put together. I guess I had another question here, which was it's for both of you actually. What was your favorite part about filming this? Like, were there any standout moments where you either learned something incredible or just like your favorite part along the filming process?
Wow. It was such a journey. Really, it was such a journey. We did so much and we filmed a lot. I think, it's okay to share that we have still under wraps, but we have an extended version of the film, which is basically the original version. It's 40 minutes long. And it has more songs and more story. But we decided eventually to go with the 15 minutes for now, because it feels right and concise. But I would say, on a personal level, every day we met for filming was precious. Was just joy going out, taking the camera. I live in the northwest of London. David lives in the east. So for me, traveling an hour each time was amazing because I was en route. I was doing something. I was creating. I was alive. And for me, I felt like I was privileged to be creating in such dire times in reality, and when everything is so dystopian and unsure where the world's going. But if I want to focus on one experience, I would say there's a scene in the film that is quite intimate between two characters, and for me, because I was co-directing with David, I was doing the filming myself as a cinematographer. But David was in the scene, so I was like wearing two hats while he was acting and performing. And for me, filming that scene, that intimate scene, was the film, because it was about the human connection and the embracement of like, let's embrace each other, let's be with each other, because we won't be able to tell what's gonna happen tomorrow morning. And we filmed this in one take. So sorry, in a oneer. We did a couple of takes, but we're filming in one continuous shot. And it was like a 10-minute shot, 10 minutes, and going through experiencing the scene with them. I felt like I was like, filming the essence of the story and capturing exactly what I wanted to capture and to convey. And their performance obviously was immaculate. It was remarkable, and I was so proud. I was capturing this in one take. So I think that was my moment of just being there in completely immersed in the storytelling.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. We had a fantastic intimacy coordinator called Elle McAlpine, who helped choreograph the scene between myself and Isabel Eady. And we'd been going through a period where you'd barely been interacting physically with anyone in any kind of way, shape or form, not holding hands, not putting your arm around someone, anything like that. So to jump from that to an intimacy scene, it was a really, really powerful moment for everyone in the room, and our intimacy coordinator Elle really helped steer that in the most beautiful way and the most sort of wholesome way, and we were so indebted to her for that and her contribution. But like Omri said, every single day, it's very rare that, as independent filmmakers, it's firstly very hard to kind of finance and promote and budget and do all of that kind of stuff when it comes to making your own independent films. But we had, a wonderful resource available. There were people available at the time because, the industry had shut down. So we had wonderful freelancers who were able to work. So the sort of exhilaration of having this great team, everyone so invested in getting this project, everyone feeling the importance of it and the kind of immediacy of it, made every single shooting day just exhilarating to plan, to go through. And then, for us, we were just so delighted with the outcome anyway, that, clearly all that energy was captured.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's amazing. And it's cool how you both looked at each other and you both knew like right away that was the moment. That was so cool. So it's just really nice to see that, similar to what, David and Omri were saying, like, experiencing it, it's almost like you're living in the essence of what you wanted to create, which is exactly what you're trying to build within a film. So congratulations on capturing that. So with that, we are towards the end of the live stream, but I just want to give a special thanks to yourself, Omri and David, for coming on and sharing your experience. I'm sure you've inspired so many listeners on the live stream today. And congratulations again on If We're Here, It Means We Didn't Make It. So with that, I'd like to just mention some very quick reminders for the audience, as this is our last live stream. All shortlisted candidates are available on our streaming platform until the 3rd of December, and you can vote for your favorite to win the Best Film Audience Award. You can visit streamauteur.com, and don't forget, we're also giving out discounts and coupons, so be sure to subscribe to our platform. And finally, the awards ceremony will be taking place at the Bromley Picture House Cinema on the 25th to 26th of November. And don't forget about the exciting Career Expo and networking opportunities as well. You can get your tickets at mirabanuKfilmawards.co.uk. Thank you again, Omri, David, and Jay. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to joining you in.
Thank you. Thank you for making the film.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
guys.
Cheers.